Yes, people, what's happening? Big up to all of you. 12th man's back, the channel's back, and this show is back. Gooners a Gooner, one of my favourite Gooners in the house today. Curtis Shaw back again. How are you, bruv?
All good, bro. Good to be back. And it's good times as an Arsenal fan, really, isn't it, at the moment? Just long may it continue. It could be worse. We could be Man United fans. You know what I mean? Look what they're going through at the moment. Although they're content creators, man, the content is banging for them right now, but for the wrong reasons. So, yeah, man, life's good, bro.
Yeah, man, listen, they can take that as the only positive. I see Saeed's channel just blown up completely because of what's going on. Rant's the same. It's just insane what's happening right now at Man United. I can't believe he's still there, but that's another story. Big up to everyone who's joining us. Big up to Deluded in the house. Big up to you, my bro. Hope you're well. Make sure you're following Deluded. Says smash the like button, folks. Sub down, putting in the Declan Rice shift, bringing the content. Big up, my bro. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And make sure you're going over to Deluded. Make sure you also subscribe to Curtis Shaw TV. I know most of you are. If you're not, I don't know where you've been. Please make sure you go over there and show him some love and show some love, please, people. Hit the like button and the subscribe button very quickly. We hit 25k yesterday. We're on to 30, a big 3-0 now. So that's where we're up to now, man. So come on. Big up to everybody who's been supporting. Much appreciated. Curtis, I'm going to ask you from the off, man. They're going to start with the Champions League because there's a lot of people that have suggested that we're actually fit and suited more to the Champions League. And I know we heard that last season, but our defensive displays so far this season have proven that actually against anybody, we've got a chance of keeping a clean sheet. And I wanted to get your honest opinion on it, which is why I've obviously titled the thumbnail about Champions League or Premier League. Where are we most suited? What are you saying, bro?
For me, I would still say we're probably more suited for the Premier League in terms of winning it. I do think the Champions League is wide open because, you look at Real Madrid losing to Lille and Man City, we played really well against them. But I just think the whole two-legged thing is what makes it difficult. I heard, don't know if you heard Thierry Henry, what he said to Saka. He was talking about Arsenal need to go away from home and beat a big club in the Champions League. Obviously we lost to Porto away and Bayern Munich away. And I still think if we were in a situation where if we'd lost and then had to go maybe away from home and turn it around, could we go to a big Champions League away game and score a few goals and turn it around? That would still be the question mark. And Arteta in Europe, I do think we're getting better, but he has struggled a little bit since he's been in charge. So I think we've got definitely a chance to get to the latter stages especially if we can get through in that top 8 and avoid that playoff situation, which I think we can. But I just think in the Premier League suits us better. I think we're better than most teams in the Premier League. It's us and Man City, really. Obviously, Liverpool as well are in that mix, but I think those three. So I would still say that the Premier League, we've probably got the better chance of winning it. But I do think beating PSG the other night was a bit of a statement win. I think when you look at it, that's probably one of the biggest results that Arteta has had in Europe in terms of the quality of the opposition. We didn't beat Bayern Munich home or away last year. So we beat Porto in the home game on penalties. So I definitely think we've got a better chance this year in Europe. I think the new format will suit us as well. But I do think the league is the one we've probably got the better chance of winning, if I'm being honest.
I mean, let's talk about the new format. I don't know about you, but I'm now looking at other teams for the first time at this stage in the Champions League. I think beforehand it was like, I don't really care about anybody other than the three in our group. But when you look at what's happening now, you're looking at where City are, where Liverpool are, what Villa are doing, what Munich, Madrid and Barcelona are doing. It's like, wow, this is actually a bit more of a free-for-all. And I actually am all right with it. I don't know about you. I know the 2 extra games are a bit of a pain because we've got to play 8 now instead of 6. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the new format, bro.
Bro, I love the new format. Like, I don't know about you. I thought last year the Champions League was a bit underwhelming. We waited so many years to get back into it. Our group basically resembled almost a Europa League level group without being disrespectful. The Porto game was good, dramatic second game. The away game was pretty boring. Bayern Munich, the first game was good. The away game was pretty boring again. So I kind of left the competition a little bit underwhelmed after all them years. being out of it. And like you said, I think the new format is great because you're like, yo, Real Madrid have lost and Barcelona have lost and City have drawn, and we're all kind of looking at each other. And also with the group stage, like the good teams always seem to get through because, they're in a group with other teams that aren't that good. And
Mm.
Champions League wasn't even getting lively till about the quarterfinals. But obviously now we're playing Inter, we're playing PSG, Man City playing good teams. So I think the new format is brilliant. Like you said, the 2 extra games is not great because, it's going to stretch the squad even more. But I think in terms of the actual product of the Champions League, I think this is almost their way of bringing the Super League to us without actually
Yeah.
bringing it to us, the league format. And yeah, for me, it works out. I think it's better. You see better games, more excitement. And like you said, we're all looking at each other because before it was like, oh, well, I don't care what Real Madrid do until the quarterfinal in case we get them. So I definitely prefer this new format.
Yeah, look, a lot of people are mixed about it. I think the reason people are mixed is because they think or are kind of worried that it might be the first step towards the European Super League. That's why I think some
Yeah,
people are like, nah, I don't want it. You've got Brad here saying it's made the games boring, but then you've got Matthew saying the format is way better. So look, you've got a lot of mixed about it. I quite like the fact that it's a league now and that we're actually looking at a league table. I,
yeah,
I I think I'm right in saying it doesn't matter if you come first or eighth, though, you go through. So it doesn't mean that first place plays, the 16th place or whatever it be. I think you just get in the top 8 and you go and wait for who you get in the next round. And I'm looking at that top 8, Curtis. That's going to be tough, because if we're
mm,
saying that all 4 English teams are going to go through, like people are suggesting, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and Villa, who have been phenomenal, to be fair, in their first 2 games. That means
yeah.
there's only 4 places left, and we've got Bayern Munich, we've got Borussia Dortmund, we've got PSG, we've got Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan. There ain't many of these teams that are going to actually get into this top 8. I think we're going to see a couple of shocks, mate.
Definitely, yeah. And then obviously it's the playoff system after that, innit, if you fall outside of that 8. But I think you've probably got to win. I think you've probably got to win 5 or 6 games to get through. I think when you look at now, Atalanta, that draw, Inter Milan's our hardest game. After that, I think we've probably got to win every game, to be honest. I think you take I'd like to think we could beat Inter, but a draw would be a good result there, to be honest. I think then you've got to probably win the rest of the games, really. Sporting Lisbon, Girona, Dynamo, Monaco, Shakhtar. I think really Arsenal, you'd make us favourites to win all of those games. So I think, I think it's definitely more difficult. I think that's why some people are against it because the 4 teams in the group, 3 teams that you're probably better than, you kind of know you're going to get through in that top 2, where this is a lot more difficult. And like you said, you're already playing 2 extra games. If you finish outside that top 8, you've then got a playoff as well. So it's important we do get into that top 8, really, because we don't want more games. And imagine if we was unlucky and, let's say Barcelona or Real Madrid finish outside the top 8 and you get them in a playoff. Before you know it, you could be out the Champions League, and you don't. I believe you don't fall into the Europa League anymore, do you? If you get knocked out, so it's yeah, it's exciting, but I'm confident. I think our fixtures are quite favourable. I think that Inter Milan game's the big one. I know they won the
Yeah.
league last year, and they are good. That'll be a difficult game, San Siro. But I do think we can go there and trouble them as well. It's not like Inter Milan that had Adriano and Recoba and Ronaldo from back in the day.
No,
They
no.
got Mkhitaryan playing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the big game. But I think we've got a good chance of getting through. I do.
Yeah, I do as well. And they're saying 15, 16 points. Well, we've got 4, we've got
Yeah,
6 to play. So really, we've got to win our home games and then 1 more away win. And I think
yeah,
we'll win our home games. We've got Monaco, Girona, and no, not Girona. Who is it? Monaco, Shakhtar, and Dynamo
Shakhtar.
Zagreb.
Yeah,
So we're going to beat those 3, I believe. We should be doing that. And then we
yeah.
just got to go to Girona or Sporting Lisbon and get 3 points. And it doesn't actually matter what we do away. I still think we could at least draw those 2 away games as well. So look, I think we're in a good position. If I asked you now, and just sticking to the Champions League, who would you fear? What teams would you not want to draw when we get to the latter stages? Like, who would you want to avoid to get to the all the way to the final?
Yeah, I still listen. I'll be honest with how good we are now. I actually don't fear anybody.
That's why
But
I asked it. That's why
yeah,
I
do you
asked
know
it.
what I
I'm
mean?
with you.
The
Yeah.
word fear, I literally don't fear anybody. I think over two legs we can trouble anybody, but I've still got to be honest. We don't have pedigree in Europe. Like we are still not one of the top teams when it comes to European competition. I think you're looking at teams like Real Madrid. I think obviously, you can go to the Bernabeu of a bad night and you're hanging on for dear life, even though they haven't actually started the season that well. I actually don't think I would want to play Liverpool and City as well, if I'm being honest. Just because you know what Liverpool can be like on a Champions League night midweek. The atmosphere is different and you know each other so well. And we don't have a great record at Anfield either. And probably Man City. I mean, listen, like I said, I'm not fearful of them, but they are the best team in the Premier League at the moment. The trophies say that. And if you go away from home and don't play well and they get the better of you, scrambling in the second leg. So probably those three are the main three. There's obviously, Bayern and Barca and Inter. They're all dangerous teams, but you're going to face good teams as the competition wears on. So I'd probably say Real Madrid, Man City, Liverpool. They're the three I'd rather not play if we could avoid them.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I don't want City or Madrid, but anyone else, I'm actually feeling like over two legs we can beat them. I really
Yeah.
do. And I still think we can beat City and Madrid over two legs, by the way. I just think that they're the two teams that were the heritage of it. I understand what you're saying about Liverpool. I need to see more from them. We're going to learn a
Yeah.
lot about Arne Slot and Liverpool in the coming weeks because their fixtures are mad. Bro, they've got
Yeah.
unbelievably hard fixtures. So I think we'll find out more then. But when I look at it, I look at Arsenal right now and I just feel like I'm confident because of our defence being so good. And I'm also confident because actually going forward, people have said that we aren't, we're more Tony Pulis football and all this crap. Actually, when you look at it, we've been really good going forward. We've not created enough at times and we've not put away chances at times. But I've been quite impressed in the last few games against what we've had in front of us to actually potentially blow them away. And we should have scored more in the last few games, if I'm honest with you, against all of them. I mean, Leicester, how we found ourselves in that position, I will never know. We were all over them. And 2-2, you're thinking, Arsenal have got to iron that out in them at home because in the Emirates, I sit there as a season ticket holder worried that we're going to ever keep a clean sheet of the Emirates sometimes because on one hand, our defense is so good, but going away, I have actually more confidence of not conceding. That's crazy. It shouldn't be like that. But I don't know if it's because maybe we want to entertain, we get a bit more excited, the fans lift us a bit more. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but at the Emirates, I never put my house on Arsenal keeping a clean sheet, no matter who it's against, bro. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I think even though we're defensively solid, I think when you're at home, you've got that impetus that I need to entertain the home fans. And I think sometimes, we open up our fullbacks. I mean, Calafiori's like almost up front at times. Do you know what I mean? He was running past Havertz, and then Timber's been encouraged to go forward. And obviously, I think not having Rice in that 6 role as well at times leaves us a little bit more exposed, even though Partey has played a lot better in the last couple of games. He doesn't have that mobility, and I think that sometimes plays its part as well. But I think this whole attacking thing's being exaggerated as well with Arsenal. People kind of that's what they're trying to sort of hit us with at the moment. Oh, Tony Pulis and you don't attack. When you look at it, we scored 2 against Villa, who've just beaten Bayern Munich. We scored 2 against Man City, the best team in England, and I'm sure we would have scored another goal if we weren't down to 10 men. We scored against Brighton, went down to 10 men. We still had chances we should have scored. We got 4 against Leicester, 2 against PSG. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a complete exaggeration of it's almost like when it comes to Arsenal, if it's not perfection, they're going to criticize us for something. Before they've said, oh, you're too open, you're not defensively good enough. We've doubled down on the defending. We've got the best defense in the Premier League at the moment. But now we're expected to score 3 or 4 goals every week. Football doesn't work like that. There aren't many teams that play like that. Even Real Madrid, they've got Mbappe and stuff, and they're having problems at the moment. He's been dropped the last couple of games. So I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, maybe we are scoring a lot of goals from set pieces, and maybe the worry is if there's a team that stops us doing that, we need to score more goals from open play. But again, people have got to understand we haven't got Odegaard, and Odegaard is the most creative player in the Arsenal team. and we're still winning games. We're still creating chances. I think we could have scored. I mean, you was at the game. I think we could have got 3 or 4 goals against PSG. We kind of retreated a little bit second half, and I think once Timber came off, the fullbacks changed. The way we got forward. So I've got no problem with the way we're playing. I think you just want to see the front three scoring goals. I think Martinelli's put in better performances the last couple of weeks. Havertz got his goal. Saka's chipping in. So I think, let them talk about us. We're handling business. Like you said, Liverpool got a tough fixture list. We've had a tough start to the season as well. To go to Man City, Villa, Tottenham in your opening 5 or 6 games, Brighton at home, who've started well. I think we've had a tough start. And then you throw in Atalanta and PSG. So, listen, I think things are going well for us. I would like to see the club push on again in January and bring somebody, even if it's just one player, give that club another lift and bring somebody in. But whether they do that or not is, that's a different question, isn't it?
Well, bro, the last few January transfer windows ain't been great, have they? I mean,
No.
we've done nothing in majority of them. And when we have signed players, it was Trossard, Jorginho and Kivior, which, to be fair, were all good signings if you look back now. But at the time, it was quite deflating when we were actually linked with the likes of Caicedo and Mudryk, who we thought were going to be like electric when we were signing them. But look, we're in a situation at the moment where defensively we're good. And I think Gabriel and Saliba, the partnership is so good. It doesn't even need talking about. It's just so good. There's no point anyone asking what they think of it anymore. It's proven to be, at the moment, the best in Europe, in my opinion. But our fullback situation is a tricky one, Curtis, because at the moment, Ben White's got a bit of a knock. Timber come off injured at this PSG game with a bit of a knock. Calafiori's come into the mix. We've got Tomiyasu back in training. Zinchenko on his way back soon. And Kivior coming in, to be fair, and doing a job. So, look, I think it's clear Gabriel and Saliba starting every single game that we need them to. But what's happening at fullback, in your opinion, mate? Because it's an interesting conversation now.
Competition, man. Competition is good all over the pitch. Some people, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's been dropped. And Ben White, I have no problem with anybody being dropped if the person coming in is doing a better job and it keeps you on your toes. Timber, for me, is just a game changer. I think he's an absolute game changer. Like, every time I watch him play, I'm like, this guy is unreal. Like, I haven't seen anybody really trouble him all season on the back of a 12-month layoff, which is unbelievable. I've just seen, I don't know if you saw that Holland haven't picked him for their internationals. So
good. I'm glad.
Well, I mean, I'm glad, but whether that suggests his injury's worse or whether of Arsenal just been a little bit savvy and said, look, he's got a knock, leave him out. So I'm glad he's not going, actually. I think with Ben White, we can't forget what Ben White's done in an Arsenal shirt. Like, he's been so good for us at right back over the last couple of years. And, he would have been in the England squad if it wasn't for Southgate. I do think his form dipped a little bit in his last 2 or 3 performances, but apparently he was carrying this injury, which has kept him out, and Calafiori's come in. Calafiori looks like he's going to be a really good player for us, but he definitely needs to calm down a little bit. When I'm watching him, I'm like, he looks like everything's 100 miles an hour and he's diving in for challenges. He's getting forward. He looks brilliant going forward. Defensively, he just needs to maybe calm down a little bit. It is difficult because I do think he's a natural centre-back playing at left-back, and he's probably trying to do something similar to what Ake's done at Man City. But for me, it's Timber and one other at the moment when it comes to the fullback. If Timber's fit, he's got to play, in my opinion. I think he looks unbelievable. So whether he plays left back and Ben White gets back in at right back, or Timber's at right back and Calafiori at left back. So I don't think any of the others are in contention if those guys are fit. I think Tomiyasu, Tierney, Zinchenko and Kivior are all backups, really. But that kind of strength in depth that we've got at fullback is what we want in the attacking areas as well, ideally. Because we could pick 3 or 4 different combinations and we'd be comfortable with all of it at fullback. So, but I think Timber probably won't play tomorrow if he's not in the Dutch squad. So if Ben White's out, probably looking at Calafiori and probably Tomiyasu if he's back in full training. So still solid enough for Southampton, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is, man. Tommy Yasu back in full training might have to get the nod. If not, it'll be Lewis Skelly because I don't think we've got
Yeah,
anybody else, to be honest with you. But look, if
yeah,
everybody's fit at the moment, I'm playing White, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber. As
I
much as
agree.
I like what Calafiori's been doing, I do think that at times he needs to be bedded in a little bit more because he looks to be very, very rash in certain decision making going forward. And sometimes I can't be hypocritical because I've kind of criticised Zinchenko for that, and I
Yeah,
can't then say, "Oh, but it's Calafiori and I prefer him." He's got to be looking at this defensive duties as well. I actually think he is more of a left back than a centre back because of that.
do
Going
you?
forward, don't really do that as a centre back, but for me, he's definitely got defensive attributes that are good. So I think that he can be the perfect fullback for us. But at the moment, you just can't drop Timber, and I think it's really harsh to dump Ben White out of the side. I mean, even when he came on against Man City, he was good and he was injured,
Yeah,
so you've got to look at that as being a good thing. Tomiyasu, Kivior, and Zinchenko are 100% backups. And if I'm honest with you, I'm actually a fan of Kivior and Tomiyasu more than I am Zinchenko. I mean, Zinchenko for me has got he's probably like third or fourth choice left back for me now, and we've still
yeah,
got Kieran Tierney at the club, which people forget about. It's mad. You might
yeah,
even see that he has to play a couple of games in the Carabao Cup soon or something if we're going to be worried at fullback. But look, we're in a position at the moment where I think that it's a really good thing for us defensively. I've never seen us have this much strength in depth in defence going back to the Highbury days, even. I mean, even in the Invincible season, we had Keown and Sigan that were backing up Torre and Campbell. And I would
yeah,
argue that that's probably weaker than what we've got now. So we're in a really good place defensively, and that's always going to give us a chance. I
yeah.
wanted to mention, though, because in midfield, we've got Rice in the 8, Party playing well in the 6, Marino now back. What's happening there for you? Because for me, I think Rice is a 6. I'm not a fan of him in the 8.
Definitely.
I just don't see him playing well there consistently. And I think Marino, when he's fit, will come back into that 8 role. It's potentially harsh on Party because he's been really good. I thought he was excellent against PSG and really good against City. But I think
Yeah.
our best midfield trio when Odegaard back is going to be Rice, Marino, and Odegaard. But I want to get your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, Rice, there's no doubt Rice is better in the 6. He doesn't look the same player this season. And going forward in the 8 role, listen, he's good at them driving runs. He's powerful when he goes forward. I just don't think his end product is what you want ideally from your 8. It will take time to develop that. And I think with Partey being out of contract in the summer, I think you will see a situation where he probably gets benched and Rice plays, and then Marino plays in that left 8 role. Although, Marino, I don't know. It's hard for me to say with Marino because I honestly haven't seen enough of him to know how good he is or isn't. I've seen him a few times for Sociedad and a few times for Spain. I remember when he was at Newcastle, but he didn't look that quick the other night when he was on the ball. I thought he looked quite slow. So I thought, is he ideally a box-to-box centre midfielder? I'm not sure. But apparently that is his role. So I think once Odegaard's fit, they will try and go back to that. I think the difficulty is that Partey, particularly in that PSG game, was excellent in that role,
Yeah,
and he takes the ball on the half turn very well. I think, because he's played for Atletico and he's been in a possession-based team, when he plays like that, it's actually difficult to drop him. But I think he will do that at some stage just to enable Rice to go back into that 6 and Marino in the 8. So again, it's a good problem to have. I want Arteta to have those problems that, well, do we play Marino? Do we play... Marino might not get straight in the team. He might think, look, he needs time to get used to the league. He didn't really have a pre-season because obviously going to the final with Spain and then the move was in the air. So it will be interesting whether Arsenal keep Thomas Partey at the end of the season, whether they offer him a short-term deal or do they just think 200 grand a week, get him off the books. So again, listen, it's a problem that I don't mind. I don't mind having. I think if you're going to a tough away game, especially, you can almost play Partey and Rice in a double pivot where they're almost both like 6ers, just to give that extra bit of
yeah.
protection with Rice having the license, and then you've got Odegaard back. So I think though I'm not sure Partey will just get dropped as quickly as people think, that as soon as Marino's fit, Partey will get dropped. I think Partey will make Marino have to fight for that position a little bit harder. So, But
Yeah,
again, like I said, it's a good problem to have.
it is, man, and I've been impressed with Partey, I must say, because I didn't think he'd be able to be relied upon as much as he has been already. I really felt like this season was going to be we play him if we have to, but we've
Yeah,
actually played him in most games, and he's been good. He has, and Rice in the 8. There's games where he has, which I think, wow, what a performance. There's games and I think you're good, but I don't like you in that position. You're definitely a
yeah,
6. So I think long term we're going to have him in the 6 for sure, and then somebody will come in that 8 role.
yeah.
And we'll have Odegaard there as well. Talking of the latter, how do you think we've coped without Odegaard in the 10, bro?
I think we've done really well, and I think at the start, yeah, I was very much like, who's going to replace him, Nwaneri, but he's obviously held him back. But I think Trossard's performance the other night against PSG, he answered the question, because we've been seeing Havertz drop deep, Trossard's drop deep. I've been like, I don't really know. But I think Trossard the other day, I think he's a better player in central areas. I think you need him closer to the goal, because I think sometimes he doesn't have the pace to be on the wing and go past, like, these quick fullbacks. But I think in central areas where he can dribble both ways and he can shoot, he can pick a pass, I think Trossard is the solution. And I think we've done really well. When you look at, we've beaten Tottenham with, I think the Man City game, he didn't play the City game either, did he? So I think we've done brilliant. We've beaten PSG. We've drawn with Man City. We would have beat them, I'm sure, if it wasn't for Trossard getting sent off. We
Yeah.
beat Tottenham. We beat Leicester. I mean, what more can we do really without him? I think we've done brilliant, and it actually excites me now, because I'm thinking we're picking up big results with Odegaard out of the team. What are we going to look like when he comes back in this team? So I think we've done really well. We've done better than I expected, to be honest, because when he got injured, I was very worried about where's the creativity going to come from, but we're still creating chances. So yeah, man, I think we've done really well.
Yeah, look, I'm absolutely spot on with you. I thought Trossard was immense the other night, and I think he has been in that position, to be fair,
Yeah,
really good. But the other player that's really burst onto the scene is Ethan Nwaneri, and I think against Bolton, he proved that he's
yeah,
ready, man. I know it's only Bolton, and people will laugh at that. But actually, when you look at when he has come on against Leicester, he looked like he lit the
yeah,
game up. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he can fit and contribute moving forward. And I think that when that window shut and we sold Smith Rowe and Vieira and Nelson and Eddie, and we only bought in Sterling, I thought, oh, what are we doing? We've completely
yeah,
left ourselves short. But if Trossard and Ethan Nwaneri can prove why we don't need Odegaard, then it really is only the attacking option that I'm looking at as a potential question mark. So I think Nwaneri definitely deserves minutes, but I wanted to ask you if you think he will get those minutes, and where do you think he will? Would he play against Southampton? Would he come on? He didn't play him or bring him on against PSG, but he played him for 90 minutes against Bolton, where he was excelled, and then come on against Leicester. Do you think he might get an opportunity tomorrow?
I think he'll. I don't think he'll start tomorrow. I'll be surprised. I wouldn't mind him starting, but I think the fact that Trossard was having a great game the other night, he took him off with 25 minutes to go. It kind of felt like he was saving his energy for tomorrow, and I don't think Arteta's not going to take a chance of taking any risk of dropping points the game before the international break. So I think he'll go with what he views as full strength, but I think he needs to get minutes. I think when you're a young player, you've just got to stay involved. Even if he's getting 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, he'll pick up a goal, pick up an assist. I think he'll play that Preston game. I just don't think he's going to start in the Premier League at the moment. Maybe he's going to have to wait a little bit for that opportunity. But in terms of his talent, I think he has to get a chance. I don't think you can just tell when you see a baller. Everybody knows,
Yeah.
The way somebody takes the ball and goes past somebody. He's just got that thing about him that you can't even explain it. You just know he's a player. I just hope we don't hold him back too much, because we do need him to develop, and he is going to need to get minutes to do that. But I think this season, Arsenal's aim's got to be all 4 competitions to go as deep into them as possible. So if we get 4 or 5 Carabao Cup games, 4 or 5 FA Cup games, 38 league games, hopefully loads of Champions League games, he should still be able to accumulate minutes. So I would love to see him get a start, because I feel like the fans all want to see him.
Yeah.
you know, and he looks like he wants the ball. Even in pre-season, you could see it. Like we all sat there. I think it was the Man United game, and he went past somebody and was like, "This is Smith Rowe's replacement. Like he's not going to buy an attacking midfielder," and he didn't. So, but I think him and Lewis Skelly this year will get minutes. But how many starts they get's a different matter. But I think Nwaneri's a potential star if he plays enough minutes.
Yeah, I think he is. And look, I would start him tomorrow. I don't think he will, but I would start him tomorrow. If you're not going to play at home to Southampton, who are quite clearly the worst team in the league, I might have jinxed that now, so I'd touch lucky wood to say that.
You watch, we'll go 1-0 down now tomorrow.
We will now. I've said that, bro. But they're easily one of the worst in the league. I'll say that. And I think if you're not going to get a start at home to them, you are literally seen as a Carabao Cup player or someone you might bring on with 10 minutes to go. And I want Nwaneri to actually be given more of a chance than that. I think it's fair to give him 60-minute mark. You know, subs, the numbers come up and he comes on. Give him half hour, give him 45 minutes, give him a half. I think that's what he needs now, actually, to get a run in this team because he looks good enough and he looks ready. And do you know what? The biggest compliment I can give him is that we haven't actually missed Odegaard. And he's one of the reasons that people are excited about the fact that, you know, oh, actually Odegaard's out, but we've now got him. He's the one that's burst onto the scene. And when I've looked at players in the past, Curtis, I don't know about you, I've looked at like Maitland-Niles, Joe Willock, Beric Iwobi, they've all come in and I thought they look all right. Like they look like they can be part of the squad. I think when Nwaneri's coming, I'm like, this player could be a starter. He's that good. He could actually start for Arsenal. He could be a Saka or potentially a Saliba or Martinelli, someone that could get into that side. And you think, we've got quality around you, but you're not droppable, mate. You're looking that good. And I actually do think that this kid could be that good. And I genuinely don't think that is overhyping him. I think that's just what I've seen with my eyes. I think when you look at pre-season, I agree with you. I look at what he's done at Bolton, at Leicester so far, thinking, they're teams that we should be beating, but he has been one of the best. Do you know what I mean? So I want to see him with some minutes. I don't think he should be starting every single game, but I actually believe there's an opportunity here for him to actually get some minutes behind him. And I hope that he does do that. He's clearly going to play against Preston, that's for sure. So maybe he won't bring him on tomorrow or use him tomorrow. But if he did, I'd be more than happy with it. He looks confident. He looks fearless. He wants the ball. His players seem happy to give him the ball as well, which is probably one of the biggest compliments you can give him. He's got agility. He's got ability to actually have a shot as well. He's not frightened to shoot. So I think this player's got a lot going for him, man. And I know people that have met him that say he's so level-headed. He's humble. He's a guy that just wants to play his football. So, look, I think we're in with a shout of seeing what this kid's about for sure, man. So, definitely one for the future for sure, man. Listen, people, there's way over nearly 600 of you in here. Please make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Make sure that you are following Curtis as well. I need you to do those 3 things, people, because at the moment, on likes, we ain't too good, man. We're moving like Ten Hag. Let's make sure we hit the like button, man. There's only 134 likes. That's nowhere near enough, man. Moving like Ineos and Ten Hag, slowly. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan. We will get there, guys. Oh, by the way, Rashford probably has the best 45 minutes of his season and gets dragged off. I mean,
that was incredible. And apparently it was an injury. It was tactical.
I honestly think Ten Hag last night said, you know what, man, I've got some debts to pay off. I need sacking. I want them to pay me up. That's what 100%. It looked like. I'm telling you, he's gone this weekend. They are not beating Villa after Villa have just beat Bayern Munich. He's gone by Monday morning.
Mate, it's incredible. He is 100% getting sacked. I can't believe he's still there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how is he still there? Like, we'd be crying out. You remember what me and you were like when Arteta was finishing 8th, 8th, and 5th and stuff. But look at, like, honestly, bro, it ain't good. And I'm not. Look, I hope he stays. And
so do
you know, I really hope he stays. Because for me, it's good and it's funny. But he's gonna, man. He's gonna absolutely 100%. He's gonna be sacked. And look, I think there's potentially. Only is that Villa game left, and then we see what happens. But right now, it's beautiful to watch, man. I can't lie; it's funny as hell. So we'll see. Arteta's press conference apparently has just finished. He said there's question marks over Tomiyasu, White, and Timber. He said there's a decision to make this afternoon. They're very close, and Tomiyasu is as well. So look, we might have the potential to get them all fit, and that's amazing if they're all fit. We'll see. The one thing we do know is it ain't going to be like they'll be out for weeks. Do you know what I mean? They're all pretty much there or thereabouts, aren't they? So that's really good, man. I've got to mention the player that you and I have mentioned before in good and bad ways, and that's Kai Havertz, bro. 6 in 6 at the Emirates. He could make it 7 and 7. I think it's Van Persie's the only one to do that at the Emirates the last time. I thought it was Henry, but I was corrected last night, and apparently it was Van Persie. So he's going to start to try and get that record. I've got to ask, bro, what are your thoughts? Because I thought he was our best player against PSG. He was literally everywhere, man. He's a man mountain. He's winning everything. He's linking up plays, tracking back. He's intercepting, winning the ball back. I'm a big fan of what I'm seeing of Havertz in the 9. I hate him in the midfield. It's got to be said. But I think up top, he's proving why, he's the answer. And I think although we do need another striker, in my opinion, still, he's definitely the number 9 for me now.
Yeah, Havertz, you know what? He's definitely like slowly convincing me. I'll be honest. Like for a long time, I was like, nah. And I'll be honest, I still want a striker in January. Like, because as we said earlier, Ben White is now, getting benched sometimes. And that level of competition, I think, drives clubs forward. So, and Jesus is definitely not the answer. So, but Havertz, the other night, I just thought he was outstanding. And his hold-up play, he's a lot more aggressive than I thought he was. I always thought he was some little flimsy player at Chelsea. I thought, he lacks aggression, lacks personality. But I feel like at Arsenal, he showed a lot more like fight and determination. I think he's connected with the fans a lot more. And like I said, seeing him this preseason to last preseason, he just seemed, when he first joined and he was like coming out the mix zone, I don't know, he's just very quiet. He looked quite timid. He had his head down. It was like, the Arsenal fans don't want me here. But then when I seen him this year, he was like, the shoulders were up and he was cracking jokes. And I thought, you can see that he feels loved at Arsenal now. And I think probably leaving Leverkusen at a young age, even though he won the Champions League at Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea fans ever really took to him that much. And I think also we didn't really know what his best position was. And I think he's definitely becoming a top quality player at Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. And I think what I would like to see is that home record. Can you start doing that away from home as well? You do need to score goals at home and away. But I think also, again, he's somebody that he never seems to get injured. He's always available every week. There's never any doubts about him. He's taking kicks. He looks like a proper striker. That's the biggest compliment I can give him. I'm watching him thinking, you look like a striker that we've gone out there and bought and paid a lot of money for when he puts in that level of performance. So the only thing for me was never his ability. It was about, are you going to hit the back of the net enough times? And if he can do that, then it's him having a big impact. So I think the whole front three have to chip in. I think Arteta said many times, hasn't he, that, we haven't got a striker that's necessarily going to score 30 goals. We've got to do it between the front three and maybe Odegaard as well. So I think if Havertz can get close to 20 goals, then he's got a chance. But he was outstanding the other day. But I agree with you. I don't like, when he's in midfield, I don't like it. He's got to be up front all the time for me. Jesus, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about him, but yeah, Havertz much improved. He got the green screen from me the other day, so making a lot of progress, man. Making a lot of progress.
I'm impressed by that, bro. I did see that, and fair play. Look, I thought he was brilliant, and I do like him as a 9. If you look at his goal scoring record as a 9 from the back end of last season to now, which is, let's be real, there it is.
Killer Kai Havertz, man. You know what I mean? He's killing them right now.
Love it, man. Love it. If you look at his record as a 9 since he's been playing there for us, he's got 1 every 2 games, which, to be fair, you can't complain about. Like, I think he has brought a lot to the team that people, sometimes overlook. I have got to bring it up. You said you didn't want to mention it. Jesus and Sterling, I'm not feeling it, bro, at the moment. Like, they've had the opportunities potentially. I'm just, bro, it's just so hard, man. Like, I want them to be so good because I want to have that strength in depth. And trust me, I prefer bringing on Jesus and Sterling to Eddie and Reece Nelson. Yeah. But at the same time, they're playing like Eddie and Reece Nelson. I mean, they're actually worse than them, in fact. Jesus has not been good. I mean, against Man City, he was an absolute What was he doing in that corner flag at Man City, by the way? He lost his boot, got booked. Just clear the damn thing. Like, what are you doing? And then you've got Sterling, who, if I'm honest, has had two of the worst cameos I ever see his first couple of performances for Arsenal. But when he has played, I mean, I've had him against Bolton. He ain't looked great, in my opinion. What are you making of these two, man?
Do you know what? I would separate the argument with those two, if I'm being honest. I think Sterling hasn't played enough for me to really be too harsh on it. Do you know what I mean? I thought against Bolton he wasn't great, but he did get a goal and an assist. And in the league, he hasn't even played. He didn't even come on, did he, against Leicester? And I don't think did he come on against PSG, actually? No, I think he did come on against Leicester.
Leicester.
Not PSG. So he hasn't played much, really. So I'll still be patient with him, really. He needs more game time. But Gabriel Jesus, man, I mean, I've said a lot about him in the last few days, and I'm trying to be respectful because things are going well with Arsenal. I think it's a compliment to Arsenal that, let's be real, when we signed Zinchenko and Jesus, most of the fan base were excited. We'd just finished 5th. We'd missed out on top 4. Those two were seen as winners from Manchester City that can elevate the club. And I think in the first season, they did do that at times. Jesus was scoring goals, Zinchenko transformed us, inverting. And it kind of has just fallen away. And I think it's probably a compliment to Arsenal that we're now looking at those two and going, do you know what? I'd probably get rid of them too. They're no more than squad players now. I think we've got way better left backs than Zinchenko. The only thing I would ever give Zinchenko as a slight defense is I'm surprised we've never played him in midfield because he is a natural centre mid and he plays there for Ukraine. I'm surprised we've never used him there. Jesus for me is, listen, he'll be here until at least probably the end of the season, but he has got to go, in my opinion. I actually think Lacazette was a better striker than Jesus at Arsenal. When you think that Lacazette won Player of the Year one season, Jesus has just lost all his confidence. You know, when he was at Manchester City that last season, they'd sold Aguero. They had no striker, and Jesus never grabbed that striker role. He was saying, "Oh, I like playing on the wing," and they were playing Foden false 9 and De Bruyne false 9. So he never grabbed it then. He's come to Arsenal, number 9 shirt, 200 grand a week. To be fair, before that World Cup, he looked like something was happening, but then he got injured. He's had consistent knee injuries. He's doing interviews saying scoring goals is not my biggest strength, which I think was a poor thing to say. You just don't say that. You know what I mean? You don't say that. And then I just think he just doesn't influence the game enough. He doesn't justify the wages. He's been dropped out of the Brazil squad. They're not interested in him no more. They're picking people like João Pedro and Richarlison over him. So for me, I think Jesus, he's done at Arsenal. If I could get rid of him in January to Saudi, I would sell him in January and try and get a Gyökeres or someone. But, you know, probably won't work out like that. I think until the end of the season, use him as a squad player, backup striker. He can play on the wing in an emergency, and you cut your losses with him in the summer. And Zinchenko as well. I'd get rid of both of them. I think we've just upgraded. I think we've moved on from them now.
I think you're spot on, and I said this on my channel not long ago, that I feel like the biggest compliment I can give to Arsenal is that Manchester City outgrew Jesus and Zinchenko, and Arsenal have outgrew them quicker than we expected. When we signed them, we were going for top 4. We found ourselves in a title race, and to be fair to both of them, they were pivotal to what we did that year. Jesus got an injury, but actually he did really well when we first come to Arsenal, scoring goals. I just don't think he's going to make it at Arsenal now. I think this season will be his last. And if I'm honest with you, the number 9 has not been a good number for Arsenal, has it? Like, look at the number 9 jerseys we've had over the years. Like
Francis Jeffers,
Park Chu-Young. Who else was there? We've got the number 9. Man. Like, there's been some number 9s. Like even Jose Antonio Reyes, bless him, it didn't really work out for him in the end. Like the only number 9s I can think they've done half decent is Alan Smith, Lucas Podolski, and Alexander Lacazette. Like everybody else has given that 9 shirt. Lucas Perez, remember him?
Oh, God.
Julio Baptista. Like,
well, at least, Baptista got his 4 goals, but after that, he didn't really do much.
Nothing else. Like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe the number 9 is a is a curse. If we get that striker after Jesus, give him the number 19 jersey or something, not nine, not
Yeah.
9.
Yeah,
But
the nine just doesn't work at Arsenal. Even Chelsea, they've had a curse with the nines as well.
yeah, man. Mattia Kezman,
Mm.
Shevchenko, Torres.
Yeah,
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 Falcao, Radamel Falcao. I think he was
yeah,
9. There's
yeah,
been so many that have not worked out, man. But look, Arsenal were in a good position. We've spoken there about the need for that, and I think you and I have always been very vocal about how we were like maybe an Eze and Gyökeres signing away from having a brilliant window. So
yeah.
hopefully across January and the summer we can look at that. I think moving forward, we're going to have to look at who does leave. I think potentially there's a question mark over Jorginho and Partey. Certainly a question mark over Zinchenko and Jesus.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think we're pretty much settled now. And I wanted to like kind of go on to the weekend to close because obviously there's Ramsdale coming back, which I wanted to ask you about what sort of reception you think he'll get. And I wanted to ask you what your 1 to 11 would be for this game tomorrow, bro.
Well, Ramsdale will get a great reception, in my opinion. We got to remember he got PFA Team of the Year playing for Arsenal, and I think we all know that Ramsdale cared a great deal about the football club. So he's never said anything bad. I saw an interview the other day. He said, "Look, I just had to play football." He was complimentary of the club, so I think he should definitely get a good reception. However, I want to see the team put about 4 or 5 goals past him. I think tomorrow is actually important that Arsenal win and win well. I think sometimes you do need to put on a performance as well to say, listen, we are a serious team. Like, we should be hammering Southampton tomorrow. Now, I know football doesn't always work like that. And, they'll probably put 10, 11 behind the ball and make life difficult for us. But I'd really like to see us, smash them 4 or 5-0 going into the international break as well. Because I always feel like your last result before the internationals kind of lingers for that couple of weeks. So in terms of the starting 11, I think Raya in goal. The fullbacks, I suppose it's whoever's available. I would imagine Timber, because it's a muscular problem, maybe they'll give him a rest. If Tomiyasu or Ben White are fit. But whoever's available really at fullback, I would imagine Calafiori will play one side and then one of the others on the right. Centre-backs the same. Do you know what? To be honest, I think the whole team will pretty much be the same as PSG. I don't think Marino will start quite yet. I think you'd go Rice and Partey again. Trossard. Listen, I'm like you. I would have liked to have seen Nwaneri, but I think he'll play Trossard. He had a stormer the other night. He took him off with 25, so I think he'll play. Martinelli, I think, will play because he's starting to put in some better performances. And again, you're really hoping that he can score tomorrow and keep boosting that confidence. And I think Saka and Havertz, who are putting up numbers, especially at home. And then I think later on in the game, if we're winning comfortably, you can bring on your Nwaneri, maybe give Sterling a run out, maybe even Jesus, because his confidence is low at the moment as well. Like I said, Brazil didn't pick him again. So, and I expect us to win comfortably, but you just never know in these games. And that's why I don't think Nwaneri will play, because I think Arteta will be thinking, Bournemouth last season, you would have thought, we'll smash them.
Yeah.
And, we're relying on Nelson last minute. So I think he'll be very keen to get the job done before he starts sort of rotating. But I think we'll beat them comfortably tomorrow, to be honest. Their manager's hanging on for his job at the moment, and they're getting smashed. They're trying to play pretty football out from the back. I think the way we press, I think we'll have way too much for them. So I am expecting a comfortable victory tomorrow, and I think we'll get it.
Yeah, I'm expecting a comfortable victory as well, and I think we'll convincingly win. I don't think it will be any different to PSG either. I think that the right back scenario will just be who's the fittest out of Timber or White, and then Calafiori will remain at left back, and the rest of the team I think will be unchanged. One thing I will say though, and I think we need to do, look, it's not as important because we've got an international break, because we've not got another game Tuesday, Sunday, but I think what we need to start doing is, if we are going to start strong and Arteta doesn't want to start rotating from the start, we're going to need to take like our 5 most important players off. if we're convincingly winning, say 2-3-0. Let's say it's 3-0 against Southampton. Take off Saliba and put Calafiori on. Take off Saka. Take off Rice. Take off Partey. Take off whoever you think, yeah, we need him for next game. Let's not do it. Take off Trossard for Nwaneri. You know, that's the sort of thing I think Mikel Arteta might have to start doing. If he's not going to start with, yeah, we're going to give Jesus a start this game and Sterling's going to play instead of Saka and Kivior's going to go at the back, which I don't think he will do. I think he needs to be really careful about that, because otherwise what we're going to do is just play that same 11 until we need to rotate it due to injury. And I think that's the wrong thing to do. And I wanted to kind of ask you, because look, we've got an international break again, which I can't stand, and I know you don't like either.
But there's another one next month as well.
It's unbelievable, mate. I was just going to say, there is actually amazing amount of games. We've got Bournemouth, Preston, Liverpool, Newcastle, Inter Milan and Chelsea, and then another bloody international break. And those 6 games, we're going to need to rotate, mate, because I know Preston we're going to obviously rotate because it's a Carabao Cup game, but Liverpool, Newcastle, Inter Milan and Chelsea, we can't afford to just rotate too much. Like that is a real tough period of fixtures. And I just wanted to kind of ask you what your thoughts were, man.
Oh man, and you know what? You make a good point. They might have to rotate before we're forced to. Like you said, like even a game like tomorrow, you think, would he bring somebody out? You know, even Gabriel and Saliba. Do you just play them every single game that they're available? These internationals are dangerous as well. I feel like Arsenal have got to be a bit more savvy with these internationals. Like England are playing, I think, Greece and somebody else.
Finland.
Like, does Saka need to start both of those games? You've got multiple wingers. Cole Palmer's on fire. Put Saka on the bench for one of those games, you know. Rice seems to play 90 minutes every time he plays for England as well. So what we can't afford is another Odegaard situation where a major player comes back injured. But yeah, that run after this international break is crazy. But I'll be honest, you know, I think the Man City game and the PSG game this season has given me so much belief in this team that, like, I'm kind of like when you said earlier, like, I'm looking at anybody and thinking we're going to cause people problems, whoever we're playing against. You know, Chelsea are in good form, but when you said Chelsea, I thought, I think we'll beat Chelsea. You know, everyone you're mentioning there, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, but we can beat them. We're better than them. You know, I'm looking at the fixtures now, like you said, Bournemouth away, Shakhtar at home, Liverpool at home, Preston away, Newcastle away, Inter away, Chelsea away. I mean, that week is very difficult. Newcastle, Inter and Chelsea all away from home in the same week.
It's incredible, isn't it? This has happened again. Like we had this before with Spurs away, Villa away, City away, Atlanta away. It's like now it's happening again. Surely after this next international, we ain't going to have that anytime soon, because that's like Man City have had most of theirs at home. It's fallen like for them. Like it's incredible.
Do you know the thing though? I think sometimes if you get those away fixtures out early doors and then second half of the season you're in a good position, you think, well, we got to play those teams at home now, and you've got that more. Because, you know, with Arsenal, we always seem to be in a good position. And then you get to like April and we've got like Man City away and oh no, we dropped. But this time we got City at home and, you know, we'll have Tottenham at home. So I actually don't mind having that sort of difficult run. But yeah, when it's in the same week, it's asking a lot of you. And that's where you need Sterling and those guys to get up to scratch. Because if you need to take Martinelli out or Saka needs a rest, you can't have somebody coming in that's miles off the pace. So it is important to get your Nwaneri, your Jesus, your Sterlings, your Jorginhos, have them up to some sort of speed in case they needed to play. So, these international breaks, they could be pivotal in the season because, you know, you're looking at Rodri out for the season. I'm looking at Man City going, if Haaland got injured for them, they've got no cover for him up front now with Alvarez going. So injuries could have a big say in where the title goes this season. So, But yeah, the next 2 weeks will be hard work, man. You know, I won't be watching England games and stuff like that, man. I might have to go on holiday or something just to
Yeah, mate, I
get
went on
away.
holiday to Turkey in the last international break, but I can't keep doing that.
You
But
know,
yeah, look, it's too many international breaks. They're like real talk. Who actually cares about this Nations League?
oh
Like no one gives a damn about it, do they? Like I'm not going to be
no,
tuning in with excitement to watch Greece versus England and England versus Finland. I'm just not. Like I'm glad Southgate's gone and we've got a manager who seems to be more attacking, but I still can't get behind it unless it's a competition, like a real tournament, like a World Cup or a Euros in the summer, because for me, that's when it matters because there's no other football around, right? But when there's
yeah,
football that we're looking forward to, I just don't want to be seeing Saka or Rice play. I'll be like,
no,
"Hey, Palmer's better than Saka. Go on then, you play. Keep Saka out then." You know what I mean? Like this Kobe Minu is better than Rice. Brilliant. All right then, Man United fans, I agree. Play Kobe Minu and give Rice I don't care like about them unless it's a tournament. I honestly couldn't give a damn, man. So that's where I'm at. But listen,
yeah.
before we close, man, what are you going for at the weekend, bruv, with the result prediction wise?
Like people always say, "Oh, be careful," and yeah, be careful. But I'm going 4-0.
Okay.
I look at the end of the day and think we're one of the best teams in the league. Southampton, I think, up to this point, have been the worst team in the league. We're playing them at home. They've just been spanked in the week by Bournemouth. Their confidence is rock bottom. The manager's hanging on for his job. If I can't speak with chest about this game, I might as well give up. I'm not going to come on here and say, "Oh, we'll win 1-0. It'll be a..." Nah, man, we'll spank them 4-0. And I think we will beat them comfortably. I think if we score early, they'll be all over the place. And I'm not being funny. I don't want to be disrespectful, but Ramsdale has looked very poor for them as well. You know what I mean? I know he's in a poor team, but he's made some basic errors as well. So he'll be desperate to prove a point. So that's the only thing that could cause a problem if he turns into, Buffon all of a sudden. And the only thing with Arsenal that might stop us winning 4-0 is we tend to go a few goals ahead and then just sit back a little bit, So
Yeah.
maybe I think Arteta likes to sort of preserve energy a little bit. So that's the only thing that might stop us. But I'm going for a 4-0, man. I think we'll slap them up.
Yeah, I said 4-1 on Judge's channel just because I felt like we always seem to concede against silly teams. But I hope
Yeah,
we keep a clean sheet. We should keep a clean sheet. I just feel like at the moment we just lose our heads a little bit when we go so comfortable ahead like we did at Leicester. And I feel like
yeah,
that could happen. So I'm hoping that we do get a comfortable, I'd personally rather take the 3-0 than the 4-1, of course, because you
yeah.
keep the clean sheet and it's important. So look, comfortable win it should be. If we're dropping points that's at home to Southampton, you've got to question what's going on. So I'm quite confident that we can get a good, convincing win at the weekend, man. So
Are you
listen,
going to it?
yeah, I'll be there, bro. I'll be there
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
So I look forward to that one, and then yeah, international break, bruv. So next
yeah.
week we'll definitely hook up next week because we'll be
Yeah,
sitting there
yeah.
scratching
We'll be,
around for
we'll be
stuff.
scratching around for content, mate. I might have to make Man United content.
I know that's the only thing at the moment to talk about is how bad they are, but even that's
Yeah,
getting like boring to some people.
it
But
is. It
anyway,
is.
listen, big up, man. What you got coming up, Curtis?
I'm live in half an hour, half two. I'll just react to the press conference. Arteta's very political, though. He never really tells you, does he? He's like, "Oh, we'll see how fit they are in this
Yeah,
afternoon." You think, well, you already know. Even with Odegaard, they still are not giving us an actual time frame. I know the media said November, but Arteta's still sort of playing it down how long he's out for. So we'll see. We'll react to that, preview the game, quick 45 to an hour, and then that'll be that. Watch along tomorrow.
no, big up, man. Make sure you go and follow us in following Curtis Shaw TV. Big up to all of the chat. We've got a couple of super chats to close on. This one comes in from Suj. Says, big up, Dan and C Unit. Hit the like and subscribe. Please make sure you've done that, people. There's still 700 of you in here. So make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, please. And then Joel says, we need a Ozil Alexis caliber player in this team.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
I actually prefer the likes of Odegaard to what Ozil's doing. A lot of people disagree, but I think Odegaard, in terms of his mentality and his attitude and his leadership qualities, was better than Ozil. Alexis, however, Yeah, we need an Alexis Sanchez. Everybody wants an Alexis Sanchez in their team. So look, that's where I'm
I
at. So
agree.
big up to you, man. Totally agree. Listen, stay tuned, people, because this is sending you over to Troops. Troops is live at the moment, so please make sure you stay tuned here. That'll redirect over to Troops' channel. And listen, we'll see you next time, people. Take it easy. We're out of here. Peace.